Letter warned former councillors about potential $25,000 cost of recount case. Dan Kearns, Scugog. More information has been released to the Standard about why 2 former Scugog councillors decided to abandon their case for a recount of the Township of Scugog 2018 municipal election results. On Friday, December 21st, Superior Court of Justice officials were told former Ward 5 Councillor Jennifer Back and former Ward 1 Councillor Betty Somerville had decided to abandon their application for a recount. This leaves former Ward 3 Councillor Don Kett as the only one still seeking a recount of these results. The Standard was able to obtain from the Township of Scugog a letter sent to Ms. Back and Ms. Somerville from Christopher Lee of the Township's legal team, Loopster Nixon, regarding an offer. Please note that in Superior Court of Justice proceedings, the successful party may request that the other party pay its reasonable costs on a partial indemnity basis. Scugog intends to seek an amount of approximately $25,000 in costs collectively, payable by you, the applicants, to Scugog if Scugog is successful, read the letter from Mr. Lee. The letter goes on to state, Scugog hereby offers to settle with either of you, Ms. Somerville and Ms. Back, or both of you, on a without-cost basis if you abandon the application prior to its hearing on Friday, December 21st, 2018. In the event that one or both of you settles with Scugog and abandons your individual application or applications, in the event Scugog is successful, it will not seek costs against the settling applicant or applicants, but will seek costs against any applicant who did not settle. This offer remains open until 1 minute after the commencement of the hearing of the application. The recount case, with Don Kett as the sole applicant, will be heard in Superior Court at the end of this month, on Thursday, January 31st. Spotlight on Agriculture is a collaborative social event to celebrate agricultural excellence and achievement across the city of Kawartha Lakes. This event will be held on Friday, March 22, 2019, in the Commonwealth Exhibition Building at the Lindsay Exhibition Grounds. This gala evening will be a social event where local farmers and agri-business can enjoy an evening of good food and entertainment while recognizing and celebrating our accomplishments in the agri-food industry. With entertainment, awards, live and silent auctions, and more, it's sure to be an exciting evening. There will be 2 awards given out at this event, the Farm Family Award and the Excellence in Agriculture Award. The Farm Family Award is awarded to a family who has made an outstanding contribution to agriculture in the city of Kawartha Lakes and beyond. Contributions could include agricultural production practices, community and industry organization involvement/leadership at the local, provincial, or national level, new production practices, or mentoring of agricultural industry members. The award will recognize legacy contributions of farm families, which are economically viable, environmentally sustainable, and socially responsible, and are deserving of recognition by their community peers. The Excellence in Agriculture Award is awarded to an individual, business, organization, or collaboration that has made a significant contribution to the agriculture, food, or agribusiness sector in the city of Kawartha Lakes. This may be through a specific innovation, achievement, process development, collaboration, or other unique accomplishment deserving of special recognition by their community peers. The public is asked to fill out a nomination form and submit it for consideration. If you know of an individual, family, business, or organization that would be a good candidate for one of these awards, go online to https://www.lindsayEX.com/spotlight/nomination-packages to download a nomination form. The form may be typed, handwritten, or completed online and printed. Points will be awarded based on the content included within the answers to the questions. Mail, fax, or email completed and signed applications to Lindsay Agriculture Society, 354 Angeline Street South, Lindsay, ON K9V 4W9. Telephone 705-324-5551. Fax 705-324-8111. Or email spotlight@lindsayEX.com. Kawartha Lakes pleased with proposed changes to the growth plan. Kawartha Lakes. On January 15th, the province released proposed changes to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, a key document governing growth within the municipality of Kawartha Lakes. City staff and Mayor Letham have been involved in ongoing consultation with Honourable Steve Clark, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and his staff. In August 2018, Mayor Letham and partners from Northumberland and Peterborough County led a delegation at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario AMO conference in Ottawa to put forward local concerns. Other meetings and discussions have taken place throughout the last several months. The changes signal a recognition that one size does not fit all when it comes to growth planning and density levels. It's encouraging that the proposed changes are designed to allow more flexibility in local decision-making, commented Richard Holy, Manager of Planning with Kawartha Lakes. Earlier this week, Mayor Letham and planning staff at the City of Kawartha Lakes received calls from the province advising the changes were being circulated for a 45-day comment period, and the voice of rural Ontario, including Kawartha Lakes, had been heard and incorporated. The proposed changes in the Ontario Smart Growth Plan are a clear example of how the provincial government is listening and responding to concerns that we have voiced, along with other rural municipalities. It is evident the desire to grow and be open for business at the right pace and in the right places is a priority of the province. We are very pleased with the level of open communication we've experienced on this issue, commented Mayor Letham. Of the proposed changes, the most significant are focused on intensification and greenfield development. A greenfield area is a large parcel of undeveloped land on the outskirts of a developed area. The recognition that one size does not fit all allows for local input on the character of our communities. The relaxed standards would mean Kawartha Lakes can continue to maintain its existing intensification target of 30%, rather than increasing to 60%. The city can also maintain its greenfield area density target of 40 residents and jobs per hectare, rather than potentially increasing to 80 residents and jobs per hectare. These changes are very positive and should help implement the secondary plans for Lindsay, Bobcaygeon, Benland Falls, Omemee, and Woodville more quickly. Additional proposed changes affecting Kawartha Lakes positively include a one-time window to allow municipalities to undertake some employment land conversions before their next official plan review, reducing the number and types of studies required for location of settlement area boundary expansions, ability to adjust settlement area boundaries outside the official plan review if there is no net increase in land within settlement areas, a new policy that allows minor rounding out of rural settlements in keeping with the rural character of the area and subject to other criteria, implementation of provincial agricultural land base and natural heritage system mapping through an official plan review with local refinement. We welcome the proposed changes to the Ontario Smart Growth Plan that will give us the flexibility we need to attract jobs and responsible development in a way that works for Kawartha Lakes, said Mayor Letham. The city will be providing comments on proposed changes to the province by February 28, 2019.
Bruins surge into first place in Orr Division. Marlowe Stanfield, special to the Standard. The Uxbridge Bruins continued to pile up points over the weekend, stretching their recent unbeaten run to 8 games, and taking over first place in the Orr Division standings following wins over the Lakefield Chiefs, North Kawartha Knights, and Georgina Ice. After a feisty affair last Friday night at the Bear Den, the Bruins made the trek to Lakefield on Tuesday, January 15th to resume hostilities with the Chiefs. The rival sides engaged in a physical back-and-forth affair that saw 140 combined penalty minutes. Power play goals by Jackson Savory and Justin Bennett had the Bruins leading early in the second period before Lakefield lit up the scoreboard. A power play marker by Cameron Moffat extended Uxbridge's lead to 3-1, just past the midpoint of the third period. And although the Chiefs would score shortly afterwards, it was as close as they got, with Uxbridge scoring a 3-2 victory. The Bruins looked to carry over the positive momentum when the North Kawartha Knights visited the Bear Den on Friday, January 18th. The teams traded chances throughout a scoreless first period, before Moffat and Daniel Giorgio pushed Uxbridge to a 2-0 lead in the second period. A late power play goal by the Knights left the Bruins with a 1-goal advantage as the game headed to the third period. In the final frame, after the Knights knotted the game 2-2 early in the action, the Uxbridge offense exploded for 5 consecutive goals to put the game away. Giorgio, Bennett, Matt Hunter, Moffat, and Savory all scored for the Bruins as they rolled to a 7-3 win to put themselves in a 3-way tie for first place in the Orr Division with Lakefield and North Kawartha. Ryan McConkey continued his strong recent play in net for Uxbridge, stopping 31 shots. On Sunday afternoon, the Bruins took over sole possession of first place after a 4-1 win in a matinee matchup in Sutton against the Georgina Ice. Goals from Moffat and Giorgio, less than 2 minutes apart, gave the Bruins a 2-0 advantage before the Ice cut into the lead. However, Aidan Riley scored late in the opening frame to restore a 2-goal lead for Uxbridge. Essa Patton netted his second goal since joining the team in December to put the game away in the second period and seal the win for Uxbridge. In goal, Jacob Gordon maintained an undefeated record in his rookie season, stopping 25 shots by the Ice. Bare necessities. The Bruins looked local to add some grit to their lineup last week, signing Uxbridge's Bennett Britton. The forward joined the team prior to the game in Lakefield after spending the past 2 seasons with the Central Ontario Wolves AAA midget team. The Bruins will look to avenge their most recent defeat when the Little Britain Merchants visit the Bear Den at 7:45 p.m. on Friday, January 25th. On Saturday night, the Bruins will hit the road for Apsley, looking to dethrone the Knights in a 7:25 p.m. matchup. What about the other guy? Ever since we were little, we often wanted toys or that favorite treat for ourselves. So our parents and teachers reinforced the idea of sharing. This was the first step in learning to see things from someone else's perspective. Next was the sense of injustice when someone, usually a brother or sister, got what we wanted. Through tears, complaints, or a tantrum, everyone knew we were not happy. If we were alone with a favorite sibling, we felt bullied or uncared for. If we were with adults, we got coached, we called it lectured, to understand the moment was not about us. Growing up is supposed to solve most of this attitude problem. We are assumed to have developed a more considerate or at least tolerant attitude for the needs or wants of others. I can almost hear the thoughts flowing now. Thoughts like, yeah, but when is it my turn? When is it time for another person to consider my needs or even my wants? I mean, all things being equal. Well, let's look at the idea of society as a whole. The principle of what goes around comes around is called reciprocity. In its purest form, it is intended to cultivate a flow of goodwill, acting as a catalyst for further goodwill, building a better experience in society. It is correlative. What we give out, we get back, and even with interest at times. But look at that. Even while I was trying to illustrate the idea of selfless kindness, a feedback loop occurred, and it became about the effect for us. This may in some ways be inevitable, because God always appreciates an individual who attempts to live in a way that's not egocentric. Consequently, he returns goodwill to the heart who expresses it. Because of our own tendencies to keep score, the simplicity is invaded by an expectation of balancing of the scales. Left unguarded, expecting eventually slides into desire, putting brakes on the cycle of return, sometimes stopping the whole process. Others' considerations can become less of a motivation for goodwill than how it benefits us. And this selfless reciprocity can get twisted into a means to gain a flow of good things for ourselves. Doing or acting good for what it brings. Oh man, there are tons of self-help programs out there with this at their basis, and it has even slipped into some attitudes regarding church giving. Clearly, not God. I just mean to say we should all check our inner motive over and over. Giving is its own reward. Sounds right, but if, to a person, this is a means to some kind of socially favored life, monetary or material gain, or physical provision for personal enjoyment, then understanding has been derailed by personal appetite. This statement is supposed to mean there is a good, built-in personal inner experience. It happens when we consider others and act accordingly. In 3 John chapter 1, verse 2, it says, "Beloved, in regard to all things, I pray for you to prosper and to be in health as your soul prospers." Prosper means to flourish or grow. So you can see here, the focus is on your inner personal existence being life-affirming. Your soul is your thought life, feelings, and passions. It is where the barometer for the rest of your being resides, what indicates whether you can accept favor, monetary gain, or toys without it corrupting the graces growing in you. Teachers, setting up a point, sometimes use comparative language. They'll say, "It's like this," or, "You know when this happens?" Same thing. It usually means it's too difficult to explain directly. So the sharer uses a few different ideas, carrying part of the meaning in each. Maybe size of idea is different or it's used in a different way, but they are brought together to show a new concept or application. Jesus, when he was talking to his disciples about he being the shepherd of the sheep, in John 10, verses 1 to 11, was using comparative language. Amongst other things there, he was trying to illustrate the need we have for outside influence beyond our capacity, like sheep have for a shepherd. He communicates his willingness to protect us with his very life, like a true caring shepherd would for his own flock against any and all comers. Then he steps forward with the idea further and says in John 10:10b, I came that they may have life and may have it abundantly. That is, of course, if we will ask him to inhabit ours. Life. It is something beyond us, existing before us, and inhabits us, to give us animation. It is what we borrow only because it's been granted at birth. But God wants to give us a life of a different essence, by nature his own. It will also give us direction and motive towards others. All too often, this wonderful scripture, intended to point us to governance by and supply of life, is distorted to have people think it's pointing to abundance of monetary gain, favor or influence in the eyes of others, or provision for our entertainment. Christ was enacting reciprocity in its purest form. No gain for him, just understanding of our need to be plucked out of the mire and struggle regarding this earthly life, with its fits to gain and compile unto ourselves. He laid his higher life down on the cross to protect us from the ravages of sin. So let's challenge ourselves to be better people, to give or yield to goodwill for others. And when you're waiting in line at the coffee shop, and the person in front of you gets the last of your favorite donuts, instead of grumbling, how about inwardly being happy for another? After all, the abundant life is about the inner quality of life, not the donut crumbs on your plate.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.